Papa, that is my mama, the little boy cried. The Hell's Angel froze when he saw her lying still on the cold ground. The night around them was silent and heavy, yet the small, trembling voice of the boy broke through it like a soft plea. The biker stepped back, as if struck. He had seen many harsh things in his wild life, yet nothing prepared him for the sight of a child clutching the hand of a woman who lay motionless while the winter wind curled around her. The boy was no more than 6 or 7, with wide eyes that shone with fear and hope. He knelt beside his mother and looked up at the tall man, whose lettered jacket bore the mark of a feared club. The biker had roared into the small, forgotten town only to gas up and ride on, yet fate dragged him into a moment he never expected. Under the flickering streetlight, he saw the child shiver and he felt something inside him shift, like an iron chain being tugged. He took a slow breath. The boy spoke again. "Please help her. She fell. She will not wake up." His voice cracked with despair. The biker crouched down, though his hands trembled slightly. He touched the woman's wrist and felt a faint pulse. Relief washed over him, yet he knew she needed warmth and shelter at once. He glanced at the small houses around the empty street, but no lights shone inside them. The town looked abandoned by kindness. The biker lifted the woman in his strong arms while the boy clung to his sleeve. He carried her to his bike, then shook his head. The machine was loud and rough, not meant for 3 people, especially not for someone injured. So he looked around again and saw an old store with cracked windows. Inside, there might be blankets or at least a place out of the cold wind. He pushed the door open with his shoulder and stepped in. Dust swirled in the dim light, but at least it was warmer than the outside. He laid the woman down gently on a pile of old coats stacked near the counter. The boy knelt beside her, whispering words the biker could not hear. The man lit a small lantern he found on a shelf. The glow spread softly through the room, revealing the child's tear-streaked face. The biker's heart tightened. He felt a strange urge to protect someone other than himself for once. "What is your name, kid?" he asked. The boy hesitated, then answered in a small voice. "My name is Luca. She is my mama. We were walking to find a bus. We had nowhere else to go." The biker nodded slowly. He felt the weight of their struggle and wondered how long they had been wandering. Luca brushed his mother's hair gently. "She is strong," he said. "She will wake up." The biker checked her pulse again. It seemed a little stronger now that she was out of the wind. He looked around for water and found a dusty jug, which surprisingly still had some. He offered Luca a drink. The boy took it with gratitude. The man then soaked the cloth and placed it on the woman's forehead, hoping to bring her back to consciousness. He tried to ask more, but Luca looked exhausted and scared. So the biker sat close by and waited. The hours felt long, yet somehow peaceful. He kept watching the woman and listening to the soft breathing of the child beside her. In the quiet, he wondered about his own life. He had spent years riding with men who believed strength came from steel and fury, but now he felt a different kind of strength growing inside him, one that came from protecting instead of harming. At last the woman stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, but only for a moment. She whispered something, and Luca leaned close. "Mama, I am here," he said. The woman tried to sit up, but the biker guided her gently back down. "Rest," he said in a low, steady voice. "You are safe." She looked at him with confusion. "Who are you?" she asked weakly. "A stranger who happened to ride by. Luca called for help and I could not leave you there." She gave him a tired nod. "Thank you," she whispered. The biker felt something warm spread through his chest. He had been thanked before, yet never in a way that touched him like this. He stood up and checked the windows. The storm outside had begun to calm, though the night was still deep and cold. "We should stay here till sunrise," he said. "It will be safer." The woman nodded again. Luca curled up beside her, holding her tightly. The biker sat a few feet away, watching over them. Somewhere deep in his memory, he recalled a time when he had been small like Luca, calling for someone who never came. He had learned to hide his pain behind leather and steel, yet tonight he felt the walls around him crack. As dawn approached, a soft golden light filtered through the dusty windows. Birds began to call from the trees outside. The woman slowly sat up. She looked better, though still weak. Luca helped her. The biker stood and stretched his back. Morning has come, he said. I can take you to a shelter in the next town. They will help you. The woman looked uncertain. We have no money, she said. The biker shook his head. You do not need any. I will get you there. Lucas smiled the first time since the night began. Hope glimmered in his eyes. They left the store together. The biker helped the woman onto the seat of his bike, then lifted Luca to sit between them. He kick-started the engine and the machine growled, but not with the wild sound it once carried. He rolled slowly, careful of his passengers. The cold wind brushed against them, yet the warmth between them was stronger. Along the empty road, the boy held tight to his mother, and she held tight to him. The biker felt their trust, and something inside him softened even more. He guided the bike with steady hands as the world around them brightened with the rising sun. When they reached the next town, he led them to a small community shelter. A kind woman greeted them at the door. We will take care of you, she said. The biker stepped back, feeling unsure whether to stay or leave. Luca turned to him. Will we see you again? He asked. The biker paused. He had never promised anything in his life, yet looking at Luca and his mother, he felt the promise form on its own. Yes, he said, you will. The boy smiled. The woman thanked him again. The biker stepped outside and looked at the road ahead. The world suddenly felt wider and brighter than before. He started his bike, yet he no longer felt like the same man who had ridden into the dark night. He felt like someone who had finally found a direction worth following. And as he rode away, he realized that for the first time in a long while, his heart felt warm.